Greetings. Now, I already know I did a video of this kind, but that tier list is outdated, and this is the ultimate sticker star tier list. For now, at least. But other than that, starting off with worn out jumps, useless. I mean, do these even count as their own, not just a variant of this? But yeah, other than that, moving on to the normal jump, C tier. Mainly because it gets outclassed basically at the start of the game, with two better stickers being these two, so it gets basically outclassed at the very start of the game. But speaking of iron jumps, A tier. Now, I know I put these in S tier a while ago, but that's just because, well, yeah, you can beat the entire game only using these. They're also just not the most efficient way to kill bosses, nor are they even technically the best or that great in general. But they can beat the game all on their own, so that's why they're just going to go into A tier. And that's because they basically automatically outclass the regular jump. Speaking of, line jump. Basically, it acts like a mini version of the clone jump. It stacks up pretty well with the boost stickers, but that's about it. It can also deal some pretty good damage to multiple enemies, especially air targets. But there ain't that many of them, but it's still a solid sticker all around, and also it's pretty good for that one mini boss fight with the Pirate Koopas. But overall, good sticker, and so is the Hop Slipper, guaranteed 10 damage on every boss because it deals 1 damage and jumps 10 times, you know. Guaranteed 10 damage, and you can nearly beat the entire game with just these, but the final Bowser fight will give you trouble for an obvious reason, spiky crown. But other than that, clone jump, S tier. They stack excellently with boosts. Also, they deal a guaranteed 11 damage to bosses because they deal slightly more damage than the Hop Slipper, and also stack way better with boosts, giving it S tier because, well, stacking better with boosts and damage. But infinite jump, 100 damage. Now, it doesn't stack well with boosts, and I'm pretty sure if you have the mega shiny version of the clone jump, you can actually deal more damage in the infinite jump if you crumple and use a boot, but that's only a pretty sure because you do deal a lot of damage. But yeah, 100 damage, pretty easy. Worn out hammer, same thing, you're useless. But now, normal hammer, B tier, is a bit more valuable later in the game than normal jump, and it also deals more damage. Now, both these can pierce the defense of hammer bros, but that's already that much of a important thing. But other than that, hammer is gonna go a tier above the jump, mainly because it can also hit multiple targets on the ground. So this is only basically useful for hitting air targets. But as we can see, there's a lot of jumps that just automatically outpace it. So yeah, this is gonna go a tier above. So will you. You're going to go a tier above the normal hammer because you have the added benefit of being able to hit air targets with the area of effect. So A tier. E-hammer is gonna go into A tier. It's basically just a worse slap hammer. Stacks worse with boosts, and it just deals less damage to bosses. But slap hammer, flashy variant, deals about 12 damage to bosses. So one more than that. It also stacks just about the same as the clone jump. So yeah, that's why it's gonna go into, well, S tier. Bat hammer has very niche uses. Like, the best one I can think of is Gooper Blooper, when he's gonna do his poison attack, because it's a guaranteed stun, unlike the POW, which is only like a 50% stun. I'm not entirely sure on the stun chances, but somewhere around that chance. But yeah, it just has very niche uses. It can put bosses to sleep for one turn, but other than that, it's not entirely useful. But Fire Hammer, it's going to go into S tier because of World 4. Now, it does have one weakness, Fuzzy Beetles and Spiny Beetles, but they don't appear nearly enough for me to consider giving Chill Hammers a spot, especially because they can also be used very usefully against the Snow Bowser fight in World 4. So yeah, that's why it's gonna go in S tier, and this into A tier, because this is, I would prefer to have this in the overworld for basically every other world, besides World 4, which this team gets an edge because it's good against the boss. If this team was also good against the boss, then these will probably be swapped around. But yeah, same story goes for the flowers. Again, boss fights and yeah, boss fight, Buzzy and Spiny Beetles, but yeah, you don't need me to repeat myself. Although I don't know which one deals more damage. I know this deals 21 to everything on screen, and I don't remember if this, the flashy variant, I am counting the flashy variant for all these because I'm assuming you're using the best variant when you're going into a boss. Not mega flashy because they're space inefficient, just a normal flashy. But other than that, yeah, I don't know which one deals more damage, but other than that, Shell, yeah, this is just gonna go into S tier because 27 damage with the Buzzy Shell. So yeah, that's better than both these, but these two have a boss they're good against, so you know, the pity vote. What up, Shroom? It heals just about 135 HP. That is a lot of HP. That's more than your max and some. Normal Mushroom, it heals your full HP bar one time, and that's about it. It's a very good heal item, and in certain situations it can be better, but see, now this also gives you like 10 HP once you use it, so actually it's a bit more than 135. This is basically better in every situation unless you're using it when you're on 1 HP and you can't block anything, but that's a really rare scenario. Poison Mushroom. I have been Poison Mushroom awakened, we can say. Poison Mushroom is a very good sticker for its utility. Now, I wouldn't say it's S tier, but by its utility. I'm talking about the Poison Mushroom being able to block multi-hit attacks, like, for example, Tower Power Pokey and Boom Mini Boss Fight in Enigma Mansion, where it can block out those multi-hit attacks, which can save you a lot of HP, because they both can deal, like, a lot of damage, because, well, you can't exactly block them, especially Tower Power Pokeys. But it can also apply the poison status effect whenever bosses hit you. So again, going on like Gooper Blooper, Tower Power, or the Enigma Mansion Boo fight, it can block out their multi-hit attacks because it will poison them and they stop attacking when they're poisoned as soon as they inflicted with a status effect. Meaning that you can potentially save yourself a bunch of damage. Now yes, you do also get poisoned, but you don't get poisoned for one that much. It's only like 4 HP, and the bosses also get poisoned for like 8 HP, which is really good. So for the reason that it's able to block multi-hit attacks, it can also put the poison status effect, which is a really good status effect. I'm gonna put it in A tier because that poison status effect is really good for stacking on a lot of extra damage on boss fights, and it's also pretty easy to cure. So yeah, A tier. Now the jump, the boot and the frog. Yeah, they're both gonna go into S tier, and that's one of the downsides with the poison status effect. You're not allowed to put on the frog and the boot. If you could, if these two could stack, then it would go into S tier. But because this removes the possibility of being able to wear these two, it's gonna go a tier below, because this boosts jump damage by I think twice, and this jumps and hammers by I'm pretty sure 1.5. So yeah, it's if you use hammers more, use the frog suit. If you use jumps more, use the boom. But other than that, these two are just very good boosts, along with the power block. Not only can it stun a boss, preventing them from attacking, but it also makes you deal extra damage, which is like 1.5 or 2. Again, I don't exactly remember because I'm not a statistician. But yeah, it's a very, very good one. The leaf. This basically just times your attacks for you and times your blocks. So if you're not good at blocking, say, Gooper Blooper, you could use this, but it's really not that hard because you just block after the third clap. Once you hear the third clap, you just press A, block it, and you don't get poisoned, and it deals like 1 or 2 damage, so it's not really that big of a deal. Now the two blockers. These are going to go into B tier for a pretty specific reason, because, well, this one is better overall against more enemies in the overworld and also against more bosses. This one has an entire boss built around it, so that's why it's also going to be in B tier, because, well, this one is more effective against basically every boss, besides Snow Bowser, but he's also immune to every status effect, so that's not really worth mentioning. But yeah, this one's better for overall bosses, but this one also does have its moments to shine against some bosses, like Tower Power Pokey, and you can block one attack, but it doesn't deal damage to Flashy Goomba, but this one also has the Bowser Jr. fight, which is really good against, but this one's just better. And also, like the Poison Mushroom, it can block out multi-hit attacks, but it can only do it once, while this can do it 3 times, so yeah, that's a bit better, but yeah, this one can block out attacks, so yeah, B tier for both these. Alright, now time for the enemy stickers. These is gonna be really quickly because they're all very similar besides these two. Anyways, Snowball, 30 damage to each enemy that isn't in the sky. Boomerang, 24 damage to each enemy, including air targets. Barrel, 21 damage to one enemy. Spanner, 18 damage to one enemy. Spike Ball, 16 damage to one enemy. Sombrero, 15 damage to one enemy. Ninja Star, 14 damage to one enemy. Bone, 13 damage to one enemy. And Bomb, it deals 8 damage to one enemy, and it deals 4 to 1 around it. This is a pitifully weak attack, especially because you can only get it early game or basically the very end. This sticker has no use whatsoever. I mean, yeah, it's a fire attack, but the basic Fire Flower deals more damage to snow enemies than this to snow enemies. This has literally no use to it besides just existing. I can at least see a use for all these above. Okay, maybe. But this generally has no use. Also like a few other enemy stickers, but yeah, that's besides the point. And finally, Door. You just run away from fights, so yeah, you just run away from. It's just a glorified run button. But at least it's a guaranteed run chance, but that's not really much. It's not really that hard to run away from fights or kill them quickly. But anyways, that's going to be the end of the video. If you like what you saw, like and subscribe, and if not, tell me why in the comments, or if you have anything else that you would change about this tier list, let me know in the comments, and I'll see y'all later.